Welcome to this DaVinci Resolve Fusion node breakdown. Today's node is the catcher node. So we're going to jump into Fusion, and we've got a little setup here. And if you remember right, when we went over the camera node, we had this input that we could bring in the image, and it would project onto our shape and our background. So if I brought something in, and let me just find some footage, and we brought that into our image input, you can see we're projecting that image onto our background there. If I go into our camera settings, we can go to the image and turn this off so it's enable image plane and it's not projecting on that background, and make sure our projection is enabled. This should be projecting onto our shape here. But in order for this to happen, we need what's called the catcher node. And all the catcher node does, its whole job is to catch texture mode projections that are cast from your camera or your projector 3D nodes. So let's go ahead and bring in a catcher node. And you notice there's no inputs, there's just one output, and this just needs to be input into the material of your shape. And as soon as you do, you see our media in that we have here is now projected onto our little shape here. So if I play it, it's going to play that media. And once that's set up, if you notice, we go into our shape and we go to our materials, we can't do any other controls because it's using that catcher node as our material. So we're just limited to this. Now we can also use a projector node. So if I add a projector node, and let's input that into our little merge. We'll bring our media into our projector node. And if you remember when we went over our projector node, to be able to see this media, we need to enable it and make sure we're selecting texture as our actual projection mode. So now you see that is projecting onto our shape, but very small because our projector is really close to our shape. So if we back that up, we can start projecting onto our shape. And if we go here and go to our transform, we'll be able to back it up enough so it's covering. So now we have that media projecting onto our shape using the catcher node. Now, this catcher node can also be used to input into an existing texture. So if I say bring in a blend, and let's input that into our material. We're going to take this catcher and input it into our diffuse material. Now on our material node, you can see we're using that projector and that catcher as our actual diffuse material. But within our blend node, we can still go to our color and we can control any additional color settings we want. And we still have the ability to change our specular and all that fun stuff. Also, before I get any further, on our render node itself, I'm in software render because there's some options on this catcher node that don't work within the hardware render with some GPUs. It works with mine, but some GPUs it doesn't work with, but it always works with the software render. So if you make sure your render type is set to software render, all the options on this catcher node will work. And before I jump up into this stuff, we're going to go over a few more things on here, because all this is up here is only if you have multiple catcher or multiple projectors or multiple cameras inputting into this catcher. And since we only have one, none of this stuff matters other than our material ID, which we can change. So this catcher node can also be used as a specular color material as well. So now instead of it being our actual diffuse, we're using this projector node as our specular color. So you see we've got some specular going on. And this is all dictated by our little spotlight here. So if we change, you can see we're changing where our specular is. And we can also do things like still change our color within our diffuse material and get a different color going. And we'll still have that specular. So you can use this projector node as kind of reflections. So we could say, bring in some other media and input it. So now we've got a reflection of this city flyby going on our little sphere here. So we could bring an emerge node if we wanted to. Let's go ahead and copy this media. Let's input it into our background. Let's take our render and put it into our foreground. And if we look, we've got a ball kind of flying through, but that's not correct. So we can go into our projector node, our media that's going in there. We can hit reverse. So it looks like it's a reflection of our little city flyby. So there you go. The additional settings on our catcher node. Like I said, these only come into play when we're using multiple projectors. So we could, for instance, copy this projector. And I'm going to get this a little neater. And I'm going to get a 3D merge and bring our original projector in and input it in. Just remember, for this to work, we need to make sure we select this pass-through lights. And we can bring a new projector in. Let's input our other media in there. So now if you look, we've got multiple projectors projecting onto our sphere. Let's go ahead and change this into our diffuse color so we can see what's really going on. And there we go. So we've got those two different media sources playing at the same time. Now, once we have two different media sources, or two different projectors, or two different cameras projecting our material, and this catcher node is catching those projections, we can go up top and change our color modes to change how that color is being blended together. So we can select add, max, min, average, median, or blend. And then with those, we have thresholds right down here to be able to change our threshold of where those are taking place. Now, if we had alphas on any of our medias, like actual alpha channels coming in, this is where we'd use the alpha mode to mix how those alpha channels are mixing together. But since we don't have any alphas, we only need to worry about this color mode. And additionally, down here, we can restrict by projector. So if we go to our first projector, we can see this is projector ID 1. We can go to our other projector. We could change that to projector 2. So now we can go into our our catcher, and restrict by projector, and we can switch between projector 1 and projector 2. And again, we can change this material ID, so we've got a different material ID assigned to it. So that is the catcher node. I will see you in the next node breakdown.